Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Today I come to you with a deep dive about Yağmur Yüksel and Barış Baktaş. All the details are in my video. If you like this kind of careful, story-driven coverage, please press the like button and subscribe to my channel. You can support me further by clicking the join button down below. Thank you, and let's get into my video. In the glittering world of Turkish television, it's easy to forget how much discipline, repetition, and quiet patience sits behind every perfect scene. On Secretary, the audience saw fire, Dylan and Baron colliding, resisting, and finally revealing vulnerabilities that glued viewers to their screens. What the audience didn't see were the months of early call times and late-night rewrites, the hours of rehearsal spent calibrating tone, and the subtle trust that forms between two actors when they have to lean on each other to make a complicated moment feel effortless. That trust was the foundation of what many fans began to call the connection between Yağmur Yüksel and Barış Baktaş. The connection, of course, inspired a familiar question: where does the story end and real life begin? As the series grew, so did the scrutiny. Fans clipped micro-expressions into short videos, slowed down eye contact, and turned offhand remarks into subtitles for feelings that may or may not have existed. A shared song in two separate stories became a clue. A caption about gratitude became a confession. And when a pair of behind-the-scenes photos emerged, one of them rehearsing a near-silent scene, another laughing off a blown line, people decided that fiction and reality had fused. But the truth on any set is less cinematic. There are ethics, boundaries, and the basic decency of professionals who know how careers are made and undone by how you carry yourself when the camera isn't rolling. Those who worked close to the shoot say the atmosphere stayed focused. Yağmur came prepared. Barış matched that energy. The crew appreciated that the two stars did not drain oxygen from the room. And still, the speculation swelled, because that's what happens when characters spark. The rumor that complicated everything most was simple and relentless, that Barış Baktaş's personal life placed him, by default, beyond the realm of romance. Different outlets framed it differently. Some said he was married, others said committed, others simply off-limits. What matters more than labels is what those who know both actors have repeated discreetly for months: professional respect came first. If Yağmur felt anything beyond friendship, what the public saw was not a pursuit, but a carefully maintained line. There was, however, a day when the line got tested, in perception, not in practice. It happened after a particularly heavy week of shooting. Emotions were raw, schedules had slipped, the scene they were closing demanded restraint that is hard to fake when you're exhausted. A crew member, half-jokingly, suggested that their natural chemistry would carry them through the take. The remark landed like a stone. Chemistry isn't magic, it's meticulous. Yağmur stepped away, reset, and returned with the same professionalism that had brought her this far. Barış did the same. The take worked not because of rumors, but because they refused to let rumors direct their work. Later, away from the set, there was a conversation. Not a dramatic confrontation, just the kind of clear, measured talk that saves people from future misreadings. Those familiar with the exchange say the themes were simple. Gratitude for what they had built on screen, acknowledgement of the noise around them, and a mutual decision to protect the boundaries that keep work clean. No declarations. No silence games. Just clarity. Around that time, fans noticed a different tone in Yağmur's posts. Instead of coy references, she shared craft, marked up scripts, a note about breath control in long takes, a shout-out to a coach who had drilled a tough scene with her. She also posted a sentence that many read as a compass for the weeks ahead: affection is not an excuse to forget respect. Barış, on his end, shared a quiet message of his own about taking responsibility for what your presence means to other people. Neither tagged the other. They didn't have to. Of course, restraint rarely silences a rumor mill. Clips from older interviews resurfaced and were repackaged as proof of feelings. Fans began to split into camps. Those who empathized with the intensity of work-born connection and those who insisted lines must be drawn in bolder ink. In that heat, producers and publicists did what they always do when a narrative threatens to outrun a project: they tightened access, trimmed press opportunities, and let the story burn itself out. But another moment arrived that was harder to absorb into fan fiction. It came during a charity initiative that several actors from the scrutiny team supported. The event was built around mentorship, industry veterans walking young performers through scene work and the realities of set life. Yağmur and Barış were both there, but the format kept everyone in groups. Cameras were minimal. At one point, a student asked the question nobody wanted to ask: how do you handle it if you fall for your partner? The room tightened. Yağmur answered first, steady and kind. She said that admiration is normal. That closeness on a set is intense and sometimes confusing. And that the job requires you to be bigger than your impulses. You make the work safe, she said. You never gamble with someone else's life for the thrill of a moment. When she finished, Barış added, you tell the truth to yourself early. Then you choose what protects everyone. The applause was not only for the honesty. It was for the relief. After that, the story began to change shape. Not because fans suddenly stopped caring, but because the two people at the center had given them something better to hold than speculation: the example of two actors refusing to weaponize attention. Offers to appear together poured in, panel discussions about chemistry, talk shows eager to poke at the boundary. They declined the ones that wanted sparks and said yes to the ones that honored craft. Then came an evening that might have broken lesser arrangements: an awards show. Seating charts can be cruel, and the running order of presenters can create accidents that feel scripted for gossip. Yet that night passed without a single frame anyone could twist. They greeted each other the way colleagues do. They praised their teams. They left separately. The headline the next morning was not about a stolen glance. It was about a well-run ceremony. Behind the scenes, both of them took stock. For Yağmur, it meant asking whether another round as the central target of speculation was worth it when she could instead build a repertoire defined by range. For Barış, it meant checking that his choices aligned with what he had said publicly about being mindful with other people's lives. Their answers showed up in what they signed next. She accepted a role that lives miles away from Dylan, a character whose arc hinges on discipline and self-knowledge more than romance. He picked a project that demands interiority without relying on the aura of any past pairing. Those choices spoke louder than any interview. This doesn't mean the chapter is closed. It means the story has matured. Can two people who became symbols of a certain kind of screen love stand in the same room and not be forced to repeat themselves? Yes. Can an audience learn to cheer for boundaries, not just for sparks? Yes, if we keep reminding one another why those boundaries matter. There is a difference between celebrating chemistry and demanding it at any cost. For those hoping for a neat resolution, a confession, a denial, a definitive label, this may feel unsatisfying. But the more interesting conclusion is the one they seem to be writing: a proof that admiration can coexist with respect, that caring for someone's well-being doesn't require conflating fiction with life, that a bond built under hot lights can remain intact without burning the people involved. If there's a lesson for our wider fandom, it's this: stories move us because they compress and intensify reality. Real life, by contrast, spreads out. It includes family, private promises, and the right to choose stillness when the crowd demands motion. Yağmur, Yüksel and Barış Baktaş didn't win this chapter by giving us a dramatic turn. They won it by choosing an adult one. And that is far rarer, and far braver, than anything a scandal could have delivered. What would you like to see next from them, together or apart? A limited series that flips their dynamic and avoids romance entirely? Separate films that showcase their range in unexpected genres? Or perhaps a masterclass where they unpack how they built those long, quiet beats that felt so true on scrutiny? Tell me in the comments. Your ideas, as always, shape what we explore here. If this video gave you a clearer picture beyond the noise, please like it and subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Click the bell so you never miss our deep dives. And if you want to support respectful, long-form coverage that values people over rumors, consider becoming a channel member by tapping the join button below. Your support lets us research carefully, talk to experts, and bring you stories with nuance and heart. Thank you so much for watching my video. See you in the next one. Take care, and goodbye.